Good evening, YouTube. Good evening, YouTube. How y'all doing this evening? Funny Bone here. Y'all hit the like button coming in. Hit the like button coming in. Funny Bone got a couple of things to tell y'all today. This morning, Funny Bone had an appointment at the VA. Y'all know I'm a veteran. I had an appointment at the VA for my sleep apnea fitting and all that stuff, so I had to do that. So tonight will be the first night that I sleep with a CPAP. So for all y'all who got a CPAP machine, let me know what to expect. Is it gonna be real uncomfortable, and would I sleep better, or is it gonna be a big adjustment, or what? Let Funny Bone know from your experience, so I'll know what to expect. So that'll be later on tonight. But anyway, people, I came across this story. And remember I told y'all I thought that 50 months was not what I expected, but I understand why. And y'all remember I told y'all I think it's going to be some more stuff. And we were just thinking about the civil trials with Little Rod and all the rest of these people. And the two women that filed lawsuits against Diddy the day before his sentencing. Y'all got to check that out too. He's got two more people that's filed against him. So it's just the beginning. I remember I told y'all it's just the beginning for Diddy. Just the beginning. But just when Diddy, and get this, people, Diddy said he wants to spend his 50 months in a cush prison in New Jersey. Somebody tell that fool you don't get to choose where you going. Somebody please tell him this is not Burger King. You cannot have it your way. Somebody tell him. Agnifilio, Diddy paying you all this money. Please tell him something. Tell him something. Don't be listening to Diddy. You need to tell him. You the lawyer. Tell him, Diddy, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. You're sunk. So you're going to be crying even more. That's what I would tell him if I was his lawyer. For real. If this stuff is true, Diddy was crying about 5 years. And they talking about 15 now. So, people, I'm going to let y'all listen to what Funny Bone talking about.
The world thought the Diddy case was over, that the final gavel had fallen and the storm had passed. But then, out of nowhere, Cassie Ventura stepped back into the spotlight, and everything changed again. Late last night, reports broke that Cassie has submitted new evidence to the Southern District of New York. Evidence that could not only reopen the case, but increase Diddy's sentence dramatically. The same man who had just begun adjusting to life inside MDC Brooklyn might now face an entirely new nightmare. The whispers started small. A few legal insiders on social media talking about sealed documents, new files, and unseen footage. But by sunrise, it was everywhere.
Got it.
Cassie evidence was trending globally. Every major outlet at CNN, NBC, even TMZ, confirmed that Cassie's legal team had officially filed a supplemental statement with Judge Aaron Subramanian's court, the same judge who handed Diddy his original sentence. Insiders are calling this a post-sentencing shockwave, one that could rewrite the ending everyone thought they already knew. Because remember, just days ago, Diddy's sentencing seemed final. A 50-month prison term, credit for time served, a $500,000 fine, and 5 years of supervised release. Judge Subramanian had said at the time, a long sentence is necessary to send a message to those who abuse their power. But if these new claims prove valid, that message might be about to get even louder. Cassie's return has reopened old wounds and reignited the public's fury. The woman whose courage first cracked Diddy's empire is now shaking its foundations again. This time she's not speaking in interviews or through music. This time she's speaking through the law, through evidence that, if true, could send Diddy deeper into a prison cell than anyone imagined. Before we dive deeper into this explosive twist,
people, y'all always remember this. It's a thin line between love and hate. The same person that can love you unconditionally, in the end, can turn around and hate your guts. Remember I'm telling y'all about a woman scorned? I told y'all, Cassie is a sister. She got some sister in her. Because she is relentless. Yeah. Cassie thought about all those nights she felt vulnerable, powerless, overwhelmed, beat up, nowhere to turn. Just had to take the abuse for years, 10 years, almost 11. So when you hurt over and over and over for that amount of time, it's hard for you to forget a person that's causing. I mean, people, let's be real. If that was you, could you forgive him? He feed you on Monday, butter you up on Tuesday, show you a move on Wednesday, beat you up Thursday, Friday have you at the freak off till Sunday, or the next day, or the next week. That was Cassie's life. In constant fear, every day, all day. So, yeah, I understand why she's stepping forward. Don't y'all understand? When you? I want to see justice served. I don't care who it is. I want to see justice served. So people, like I said, when you got a woman scorned, you got an enemy for life. P. Diddy finding that out.
The story unfolds in real time. Now let's get back to it. As the night unfolded, sources close to Cassie's team confirmed what many feared, that this wasn't just an emotional statement or follow-up testimony. These were physical materials handed over under seal, files, photos, and reportedly at least one recording that prosecutors never received during the initial trial. One insider described it as damning. Another said, if the court accepts this, everything changes. The ripple effect was instant. Reporters swarmed the federal courthouse in Manhattan. Former federal prosecutors went live on air, trying to predict the next step. And inside Diddy's circle, panic spread like wildfire. His lawyer, Mark Agnafollo, reportedly called an emergency meeting before dawn, describing Cassie's move as an ambush.
Yeah, right.
For the world, this was shocking. But for Cassie, it was personal. She had watched as Diddy's sentence was handed down and heard the critics say it was too light, too lenient. And now it seems she's decided to make sure justice isn't just spoken, it's served. The stage is set again in the same courtroom, the same city, under the same judge. But this time, the stakes are even higher. The question isn't if Diddy will serve time. It's whether Cassie's new evidence will make him serve longer than anyone ever thought possible. And from the look of it, that answer might come sooner than Diddy ever imagined. By morning, the courthouse in Lower Manhattan looked like a movie set. Reporters lined up outside the doors, microphones in hand, cameras flashing from every angle. Nobody could believe what they were hearing. Cassie Ventura had filed new evidence that could lead to a possible increase in Diddy's prison sentence. And this wasn't speculation anymore. This was official. SDNY had acknowledged receipt of the new submission.
Documents.
The moment that news broke, the internet went into meltdown. Inside sources told multiple networks that Cassie's new evidence wasn't just emotional testimony or recycled claims. It included digital records, undisclosed witness statements, and surveillance footage from the years of abuse she had described before. These files, according to insiders, had been in possession of a private investigator hired by Cassie's team. Someone who had been quietly building this collection even before the original trial began. The gravity of it was unreal. Diddy's legal team had spent months trying to settle, trying to rebuild his public image after the verdict, even preparing to file an appeal. But now it all felt pointless. As soon as Judge Aaron Subramanian confirmed that the new evidence would be reviewed, everything flipped upside down. For prosecutors, it was a second chance. For Diddy, it was a nightmare all over again. Media networks scrambled to get every detail. CNN ran the headline, "Cassie strikes again. New evidence could extend Diddy's sentence." TMZ called it, "The comeback nobody saw coming." And by noon, social media was a war zone. Some people accused Cassie of revenge. Others called her brave for refusing to let injustice stand. But there was one thing nobody could deny. Her timing was flawless. Because just weeks earlier, Diddy's sentencing had divided the country. When he received just over 4 years in prison, after prosecutors pushed for 11, critics said it was a slap on the wrist. Activists claimed it proved how power bends justice. Cassie's new filing was like a lightning strike, reopening that debate with double the intensity. Suddenly, every talk show, every podcast, every TikTok commentary was asking the same question. Is Diddy finally about to face real consequences? A journalist covering the case from inside SDNY described the atmosphere as tense but electric. Prosecutors were seen moving through the courthouse carrying thick folders, the same ones rumored to contain Cassie's files. Sources close to the case said one piece of evidence in particular stunned the court staff, who previewed it under confidentiality. What it contained, no one knew for sure, but whispers began spreading that it could prove long-term coercion and possibly tampering during the original proceedings. Meanwhile, in MDC Brooklyn, Diddy's demeanor reportedly changed overnight. Guards noticed he'd stopped his morning routines. He skipped meals. One insider said he looked worried for the first time. People who once called the trial a media circus were now calling it a second reckoning. This wasn't just Cassie reopening wounds. It was her reminding the system that the story wasn't finished. And through it all, the city buzzed with tension. Protesters gathered outside the courthouse holding signs that read, "No more deals and power doesn't mean freedom." Every headline, every tweet, every whisper built toward one question. What exactly was inside Cassie's evidence? And could it truly be enough to make Diddy's sentence jump from 4 years to 15? As night fell over Manhattan, one thing was clear. This wasn't a rumor anymore. The case that shook the music industry once was coming back from the dead. And this time, it wasn't about fame or redemption. It was about reckoning. Inside the walls of MDC Brooklyn, Sean Diddy Combs sat in silence, the weight of the new headlines pressing down on him like the concrete around his cell. The whispers had reached even here. Guards discussing Cassie's filing under their breath. Inmates gossiping that Diddy's going back to court. For a man who once controlled entire industries, who could silence critics with a phone call, there was nothing left to control now. His world had shrunk to gray walls, steel doors, in the echo of his own regrets. His lawyer, Mark Agnefello, rushed to the detention center early that morning, legal pad in hand, his face tight with panic. "They're reopening it," he said quietly through the glass. "Cassie's team found something." Diddy leaned forward, eyes red from sleepless nights, his voice low. "What do you mean found something?" "It's done. It's over," Agnefello hesitated before answering. "Not anymore." Those two words hit harder than any sentence ever could. Outside those walls, the story had already evolved into chaos. News vans surrounded the courthouse, crowds chanting Cassie's name. Commentators replayed her image from the original trial, calm, broken, and brave. "If she's coming back," one legal analyst said on CNN, "it means she believes there's unfinished business. And that's a bad sign for Diddy." Leaked reports claim that Cassie's team submitted digital evidence from hotel security archives, linking timestamps to several previously dismissed witness statements. One of those witnesses, a former assistant, was rumored to have testified privately to federal agents. Her statement was sealed, but sources said it aligned perfectly with Cassie's new material. That alone made the judge take notice. For Judge Aaron Subramanian, the situation was delicate. He had already ruled on the case, already stood in the national spotlight. To revisit sentencing would be unprecedented, but not impossible, especially if what Cassie's team claimed was true, that new files proved acts of intimidation and obstruction during the original proceedings. Meanwhile, the prosecution was buzzing. For months, they'd accepted the verdict with quiet frustration. They wanted more time, a harsher outcome, but they followed the system. Now, Cassie's evidence had given them what they secretly wished for, a second shot. One insider said prosecutors were calling this development Phase 2. Another insider said simply, "They're coming for him again." Diddy's defense tried to dismiss it all as publicity. "Cassie's doing this for attention," one of his reps told a reporter, but nobody was buying it. The tone of her legal filing, the coordination with SDNY, it all felt too real. Too precise, too calculated. This wasn't revenge. This was reconstruction. rebuilding the case piece by piece until the truth could no longer hide behind money or fame. The pressure mounted when social media lit up with a leaked document from courthouse staff confirming a motion hearing request. The document's title read, "Motion to Reconsider Sentencing, New Evidentiary Submissions." That one phrase was enough to send shockwaves across the internet. Influencers, journalists, and even lawyers outside the case began making predictions. Some said his sentence could double. Others whispered that federal prosecutors were considering new charges. Inside his cell, Diddy stared at the faint reflection in the steel mirror. The same man who once filled arenas, now fighting to keep his future from collapsing entirely. Every second dragged like an hour. He thought about Cassie, about the cameras, about the empire he'd built that was now crumbling in real time.
People, let me tell you something. Diddy is over. I'm telling you, if it's truth to this, and Cassie presented evidence to the judge after the sentence a day or two ago, and they're talking about reopening it and resentencing, people, I think that's gonna happen. I told y'all, I thought it was gonna be some more stuff coming after this. We all knew about the civil trial. We knew that. But that's what we thought we was looking forward to before this come up. Now this right here, this threw a monkey wrench in that. So, Diddy, itty bitty Diddy, you gonna be itty bitty some more. You crying, I wonder how many letters he gonna write now. He wrote the judge with all those lies. He feels remorse. He feels like he has no one to blame but himself. Well, that's right. You ain't got nobody to blame but yourself. But guess what? You thought that slap on the wrist and you talking about you want to go to a cush prison in New Jersey? That's where you gonna wish you was at. You gonna wish you was at a cush prison, because where they sending you, bruh, you ain't gonna be pretty wherever you go. So people, I saw this story, and I do believe a lot of this because, like I said, it's fitting into place now a little bit better. The pieces are starting to fit. Because I told y'all, now they're going to use the testimony of some of these stars that gave their depositions. You think they're not going to use that? I told y'all 5-6 videos ago, they're going to use all that. Yeah. Before it's over with, everything Diddy done is going to come right back to his face. Like it did this first trial. And Cassie had her own private investigation team working on this before Diddy's trial. Way before. Yeah. Cassie been putting this stuff together for a long time. Yeah, long time. When you scoring a woman, a sister, she ain't gonna stop till she can cause you as much pain as she can. That's rule number one. Cause that fool as much pain as I can. Cause y'all know women are way more emotional than us. So when you hurt them, they take it way more personal. They might not can't beat us physically, but they damn sure can beat us mentally. Beat the piss out of us. I'm telling you. So I tell you this, world, if y'all think Diddy is not in trouble, they must be done changed the definition of the word. Last time I checked. Because if this come to fruition, his bleak future that he had before this, after those, I told y'all, anything over 3-4 years, Diddy ain't gonna never be the same. And Friday, Diddy's team, Mark Agnifilio, had to register him. We ain't gonna say the big, 3-word S word. We gonna say love. He's gonna have to register as a love offender for the rest of his life. So he's gonna be restricted on where he can live, where he can go. He's gonna be restricted forever. That's before all this. That's when he was gonna do those 50 months. Now it might be 500 months. Ain't no telling people. Like I said, Cassie is not playing. Cassie is not playing with Diddy. Cassie want to see Diddy get a sentence of forever and a day. I don't think Cassie gonna stop till they sentence Diddy to forever and a day. Forever and a dark day. And y'all look up how often a dark day occur. Look it up. People, like I said, I saw this. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all subscribe. A lot of y'all watching, but you just subscribe. It's free. It's one click. Free. Y'all subscribe. You watching the videos anyway. Every time I post, I'm looking at y'all looking at it. So just hit the thumbs up and subscribe. So Funny Bone know you here. And everybody else know you here. And put a comment down there what you think about the story. What you think about the channel and all that stuff. I'm just going to say this. Funny Bone going to be watching. Funny Bone is going to keep y'all in the loop. Funny Bone going to keep you in the know. Point blank period, people. That's all Funny Bone got for right now. But like I said, I will be covering this. And I will be doing a video tomorrow. I tried to go live. A couple of y'all know I tried to go live, but the audio was messing up. So I got to see what's going on with that. Before I throw that computer out the window. I'm going to see what's going on. So people, Funny Bone love y'all. Y'all have a rest of a good evening. Peace.